back to the channel, Rod with S.E.E. And as you can see, I'm out in the shop. I'm running both channels. That's RK Auto Detailing. I am polishing and cleaning up my Ram. So today's story time. So there was a gentleman out on the East Coast. He has a YouTube channel, and I conversed with him a few times. And he said, "I bet you've got a ton of stories." And he wanted to bring me on for a Q&A with all the years of driving. And we never got a chance because the economy kind of crunched his trucking business to where he had to turn in his truck and I want to say reinvent himself in a different direction. So, story time. And I'm going to leave some pics of back in the day, as many of my kids hate when I say that, but it was back in the day. And I want to say definitely been over 30 years ago. So I hauled heavy haul, and starting out in heavy haul, I did a lot of 50-yard roll-off containers to 8-axle walk-in floor trailers. And you're talking, this is 1991 is where I'm gonna post some pictures here. And this was a rainy day because the rainy day, we've had 2 weeks straight of rain since I've been home off the road. Every time I've been home, it's been pouring rain to where it's getting really musty and mildewy around here. So I was hauling for a company, and this was a company that is still existing. It was the company, I was driving for a company who got bought out by this bigger conglomerate of business, say it right. And this company's around, but they used to in the trash business. I did the trash or waste hauling for 8.5 years. And that's what I started out in. So 8-axle walk-in floor trailers here in Michigan. They're Michigan specials, 11 axles total. We used to, on the wet days when they would compact into these trailers, we would be overweight because the trash was heavy and because it was saturated with water. So therefore, we would scale down at the refinery every now and then, and we would gross 200,000 pounds. We'd run them an hour and a half down the road to the landfill. So got to the landfill, had to go up the side of the landfill, drive up the side. It was slick. Couldn't get up it. I actually had a D8 dozer on the back pushing, a D8 dozer on the front with my axles locked in, and all of us were spinning, getting nowhere. And I actually jumped out, put it neutral, jumped out while they were spinning. And I yelled at the guys, "Stop, we're going to pull my truck apart." And they had me dump it right then and there. And they were just going to push it the rest of the way. 125 yards of waste compacted. So I'll throw some pics. You'll see what I did. It was always nasty, smelly, but that was the early days in my early mid-20s. And that was a story time for me. And that was a lot of my early days of just getting in and running anything to gravel trains, removable goosenecks. But those trailers, 42 wheels, the key thing was when you're there and you got unloaded, you had to check your tires, make sure you didn't blow a tire out on the way, because sometimes you wouldn't hear or see it. Or the tire would gator and the recap would come off, but not blow. The other thing, and this was common all the time, was breaking leaf springs, and they would just go missing, and the axle would just be floating on that side, because there were, I want to say, link bars holding the axles in place, even though they were leaf sprung. It was not uncommon to have broken, missing springs on a trip, broken shackles, broken hangers. We had a full-time mechanic constantly replacing the suspension in between runs. wherever it was broke or needed touched up. So that was just common stuff we went through. And blowing out tires, we carried a jack, and all the breaker bars, we changed our own tires out on the road, alongside the road. We never called for tire service to come out. That was a driver's responsibility to carry a big old logging chain to get himself pulled around the landfill and to change any and all of his blown out tires on the trip there and back. Transfer station to the landfill, which was like Elma, Michigan, down to Flint, Michigan. So that was a trip we'd make about 3 turns a day. So the Red Mac, 4 1/4 cat, 13 speed, 463 gears. And it took everything it got with those 463 gears to pull those trailers on the heavy, heavy days. You knew you were loaded down. So one of my best trucks I ever had. To this day, every truck I get has got to be benched up to that one. It's the last hooded truck I really had. And maybe one day I'll look forward to having one before I kick off and retire out into the sunset. Until next time, stay safe, continuing educating yourself, self-educated entrepreneur.